What is up, my dude and dudettes, and welcome back to TellerTube. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the subreddit r/Maliciouscompliance. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with my latest videos. Let's dive in. Cut my job? Say goodbye to millions of dollars. Okay, I worked for a major US telecommunications company for over 10 years. One of the jobs I had there was as emergency overnight tech support for our major accounts. I'm talking about accounts like emergency services, traffic lights, the FBI, NASA, and the White House. I personally fixed the White House Chief of Staff's phone twice. Damn, that's pretty cool. All of this was handled by 11 people in a call center that was one of 2 in the country that were open all night, mainly for customers who were overseas. Because we were such a small team and the people we dealt with were the overnight IT people at their various companies, we were on a first-name basis with many of the techs who called us. Then one day, the VP of our company decides to step down as VP and take a job as the head of another call center. His brilliant idea is to make his call center the only call center for all businesses and government accounts in the country, including the ones my team handled overnight. Naturally, this meant dissolving my team. We were all very upset. We liked our job. Only the absolute best techs got to be on our team, and for a good reason. When something we handled went down, it had to be taken care of fast. And some of the systems we dealt with were so obscure and old that no one at the company except us or our daytime colleagues even knew they existed. This also meant that we had to be ready to answer at a moment's notice. So we spent most of the night doing nothing, just waiting for a call. The companies and government entities paid extra for this quick response. Even so, over the years, my team kept getting assigned more and more little jobs to do between calls, which we handled easily because, well, we were the best. It was almost my dream job. So when we get the word that our jobs are going to this other call center that, until now, wasn't even open overnight, we were upset. Yet most of my team was still pretty supportive. We offered to train the new techs at the other call center. Some of us even offered to travel for a week or so to do it, but we were all turned down. Our last week on the job comes, and we're there mainly as backup for the new team in the other call center. We're not being routed calls, but we're ready on chat if the new guys have any questions. The questions start coming in, and they're not what we expected. Instead of asking about obscure, outdated systems that no one but us knew about, the new team is asking us about things like how to fill out a timesheet for a shift that starts before midnight and ends after. And this was their supervisor asking me. We ended up answering really basic questions that anyone at our call center, much less anyone on our team, would have known. And we all got a bit worried. Then the supervisor who asked me about the timesheets asks how many calls we typically get in a night. And I say, between 2 and 5 per person usually. Then he asks how many people were on my team. 11, I say. 8 to 10 on any given night. Oh, the supervisor says. We have 33. I wondered why we were getting so few calls. They didn't have to do the little tasks my team did between calls. Either they couldn't, or they weren't even trained for the calls they were getting. The next week, my team was transferred into the normal overnight call queue, handling boring calls from people who didn't read or listen to the directions we gave them about how to make their phones work while overseas. A week after that, other regular overnight reps started asking me and the other former elite reps questions about systems that we would only know about. Suspicious. A few days later, I get a call transferred to me, and it's one of the overnight IT guys from the major accounts. I asked how he got a hold of me, and he says that the first guy he talked to transferred him to me. Turns out, of course, that the untrained reps at the new call center were still untrained. So they were just dumping calls into my call center's general queue and hoping that out of the 60 or so techs working there, the one who'd pick up would be from the former major accounts team. Since 3 of our 11 people had quit when our team was dissolved, the odds of that were pretty damn low, which meant it took multiple transfers, which meant they weren't getting the help they needed in the time frame my company was contractually obliged to provide. I went to the director of my call center and let him know about this, hoping it would mean that since the new team was failing that hard, the company would see reason and reinstate my team again. Nope. My director informed me that the team would not, under any circumstances, be reinstated at our call center. I could tell he was not happy about this at all. So then came the malicious compliance. My director told me and every other overnight tech at my center that if we were transferred a call for our major accounts, we were not to touch it, as we were not authorized to handle those accounts. The next night, the accounts wouldn't even open for us, because our security clearance had suddenly been revoked. We were to transfer all such calls back to the correct queue. We were also instructed to forward any correspondence sent to us from the new major accounts team to our supervisors, whether chat or email. In a few days, the transfers to our center stopped. Now, I wish I could say that the company saw the error of its ways, my team was reinstated, and everything went back to the way it was. But it didn't. Instead, the company hemorrhaged major accounts like crazy. We lost accounts whose monthly bills were in the millions of dollars due to our failure to keep the terms of our contracts. Barely a month after it was created, the overnight team at the other call center was disbanded, and the jobs were outsourced. Then the outsourcers started transferring the calls to my center. Again, I went to our director, hoping against hope my team would be reinstated. Nope. But the transfers stopped. Again. And the company lost even more multi-million-dollar accounts. Last year, the company announced the layoff of tens of thousands of employees. I wonder why. I saw the writing on the wall and got the hell out with the best severance package I could. So did my call center director. He was no fool either. All because some idiot executive had the bright idea and not even the slightest clue how to execute it. I can't even imagine how that executive is feeling right now. Millions of dollars. Sheesh. You want a bus that takes you close to X station? Okay, this just happened to me today. This is my first post on this subreddit, so please bear with me here. Our two cast members are Bus Driver and Dumb Lady. Let's begin. I was coming home from the post office today. I just got off the train and now was sitting in the back of the bus, parked by the curb behind another bus. That's when she appeared, the star of our story, Dumb Lady. Dumb Lady goes,
"Excuse me, what bus do I take to get to the event?"
"There's an annual event going on in my city that lasts roughly 2 weeks." Bus driver goes, No buses take you to the event grounds. You can take the train and switch train lines to get there though."
"No, I need a bus that goes there."
Bus driver replies, "There's no bus that takes you directly there." This goes on for about 2 minutes. The whole time, the bus driver has been trying to explain to the woman that it's faster and more convenient to just take the train into the city and switch train lines in downtown. But she doesn't want to for some reason. I think at that point, the bus driver has had enough. As afterwards, the bus dropped me off 2 stops prematurely from the stop before it went out of service. So I'm guessing the bus driver just wanted his shift to be over and wanted to just get rid of her.
"I need to take a bus that at least takes me close to there."
Bus driver goes, "You see that bus in front of us? It'll take you to X station. It's on the same train line as Event Station. Just take this bus there, then take the train down." That bus was about to leave before our bus driver honked his horn multiple times to get the other bus's attention to stop before it fully left the curb. She ended up getting on that bus and it went off. It took me at least a minute to realize he had sent her on a bus that does take her close to the event station. However, that bus is a 2-hour ride as it does loop around multiple neighborhoods, roundabouts, industrial commercial areas, combined with the fact that we're in the northeast side of the city. And the event is in the southeast side. What would have been a 25 to 30 minute train commute turned into a 2-hour commute. Should have just taken the train, lady. Oh my goodness. Honestly, if I was that bus driver, I probably would have done the same thing. A real crappy situation. Okay, this story begins 2 years ago in August in the Midwest US, where there are several local antique festivals. For my town specifically, it's antique cars, tractors, and the occasional helicopter fly-in for the kids to enjoy. In a small town of about 3,000, it draws in about 1,000 people to the area, which is very good for business. It also puts a lot of strain on service providers. Now the people involved, my Uncle Charlie and the head service director, Carl. 1 week before the event, without notice, Carl contacts Charlie asking for a favor. Being close cousins, Charlie happily listens to Carl. There has been a problem. The Schedule Septic Removal Company has had a major breakdown. And being a farming area, Carl asks Charlie to use a septic pump trailer to remove and relocate the refuse. Charlie is reluctant. In case you aren't aware, human refuse is much different in chemical content than the manure used in farming. And the portable toilet units come with about 20 gallons of sterilizer in the bottom, which is also toxic to plants. The estimated amount of refuse that will be collected was predicted to be around 200 gallons in a day. The number is low since there are other bathrooms on site, just not as convenient to get to. Carl asks Charlie to dispose of the waste in any way he sees fits. However, he refuses to pay Charlie, stating that family works together out of love. I know, this is BS, pun intended. And so does Charlie. He can't make a big enough hole without draining it into the water table, which would contaminate local streams, river, and by extension, the wells a ways away. He instead opts to lay it down in a flat sheet between their houses. Almost as a murder/suicide, the wind picks up the scent of nearly 200 gallons of liquid crap and starts blowing in every which way. This has an unintended consequence, as the breeze carries the odor into the fairgrounds, into the vendors' areas, where they sell food. Vendors are pissed because almost no one is buying food because who wants to eat food downwind from literal poop? The vendors start threatening to never return to the event as they paid $1,000 each to set up shop with free utilities. Aware of how damaging this was, Carl contacts the vendors and says he will give them free lots in the next fair cycle in exchange for the inconvenience. Way to go, Carl. Sounds like a real crappy time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, drop a like, comment down below on some other video ideas you guys want to see, and subscribe to my channel if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next video.